Thanks for asking. Okay, chalo, let's start. So in the last lecture, we have gone through the concurrency part, okay, where we learned about how the concurrency is handled in Node.js, the event loop, and then file handling, okay, then callback based, how to do the callback based asynchronous operation, promise based operation, async await, okay, then event based operations as well. So this we have seen in the last lecture. So from today onwards, we are going to start with Express. Okay. So how do you create a server um, and using Express, and what all things we can do with Express? Okay, with the REST APIs or template engine, we'll see that. Now, first, before starting with Express, we will create a server using normal HTTP call, node HTTP module, okay, which we already saw that, but today also we will see, and what are the problems that we can face when we create a HTTP server using HTTP module, and how those problems can be resolved when you use Express. Okay, so let's create one folder here, Express demo. Okay. Now inside this, I'll create one file index.js. Okay. And this, I'm going to create simple server using HTTP module. Okay. So first of all, we will to create HTTP server. Okay. What we will do, we will first import HTTP module using require HTTP. Okay. So this is the inbuilt HTTP module. So we are just getting that, importing that HTTP module in our index.js file, and we are assigning it to HTTP variable. So we'll get the HTTP object here. But from this HTTP object, we need a create server function, which will create a server. Now we just need that function. So instead of taking the entire module also, we can destructure it and use create server method here directly. Okay. Remember, if you remember the destructuring lecture, we can destructure any object. So HTTP also returns, HTTP module also returns the object. Okay, it's nothing but an exports object. So module.export. So here we are just exporting the create server function out of it. Okay. Now when you use the create server function, this create server function actually returns an object of server. Okay, so this returns you a server object. So we'll get it into, let's say, server variable. Okay. A create server function actually accepts one parameter, okay, which is your request listener or callback function. This callback function has two parameters. Okay, one is request, another is response. Okay, because request is a thing which will come from your client. So whichever client is connected to, whether it is a browser, desktop browser, laptop browser, or your mobile browser as well, or suppose you are connecting through your mobile application, and from mobile application you are calling the server, your Node.js server using APIs, then also this request object will be populated. Okay, or you can say this request object will be you will get request object when you are connected to the server through any client. Okay, it can be another server as well. So another server is connecting to your server, so it will call your API. So that also will go into request object. Okay. And this response is nothing but the response which your server is going to give to the other party. Okay, it may be browser, your mobile application, or the third party server as well. Okay, so here whenever user connects, okay, or let's say whenever user goes to my URL, I'm just going to send a response to him using response.write method. Okay, and in that response.write method, you can write anything. So I'll just write hello node. Okay, and after this, once you write the response, you have to end the response as well. Okay, if you don't end it, then that means you are still writing to the to your client application. Okay, so your response will not close. Okay, so you have to end it, you have to end the server. Okay, so this is your server, this we are creating a server. So this is just a creation of server. We are not starting a server. Okay, here we have just created server, we have passed the listener. This listener or callback function will be called whenever a user connects to your server. Okay, but how do you start the server? We haven't started the server yet. Okay. To start the server, we call server dot listen function. Okay. So whichever the server we have created, we have to just call a listen method. A listen method has multiple parameters. First parameter is your port number. So on which port you want to listen to this server. So let's say I say 3000 port. Okay. You can give any port number. Okay. We have a 0 to 62, 65, 55, 56 port numbers are available, out of which some of them are reserved, like 80 port is reserved for HTTP, 443 is reserved for SSL HTTPS, okay, 21 is reserved for your SSH, okay, sorry, FTP. Then there is a SSH port. Okay, so there are like a lot of ports are reserved. Okay, but you can use any port in the range of 10 after 10,000 or 3,000, 4,000, any port you can use it. Okay. So after this, you can second parameters here your host name. Like if you are hosting on it on suppose IP address or your domain, then you can specify the host name. If your application is on the same server, then you don't need to specify the host name, because your host name will be bound to your uh, the external server, whether it can be Nginx, Apache, or anything. Okay, you can just bind that. Or else, if you are directly using this as a server, then in that case, you need to specify the IP address here or your host. Okay. Now, we don't need to specify here because by default, the host name is localhost. Okay. So, if you don't specify it, it will take localhost as your host name, or your port number is 127.0.0.1. Okay. So if you don't want to specify, you can directly specify the other parameter, which is nothing but your callback function. Okay. This callback function will be called when your server is started. So here you can specify console.log server started. Okay, or server is running on http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000. Okay, you can simply say whatever the host number, port number, okay, whichever is. Just have to do this. Once you do this, your server will be started. Okay, so now to run this, I'll write. First of all, I have to go to the folder, so I'll write cd express demo, and then I'll run it node index.js. Run. Okay. Now you can see that the port number is already in use because I think my servers are running actually. Yeah, I just have to stop them. It's my development servers. Okay, so yes. Okay. Okay, so now again I can start, or if your server is busy, port is busy, you can choose another port as well. That's fine. Okay, you can see server is running on HTTP colon localhost 3000. I can just copy this. Actually, I have only written it, so we can specify localhost colon 3000. Enter, and you will see hello node printed. Okay, there is nothing but your response dot write response. So whenever a client visits to your this localhost colon 3000 port, you will see hello node. Okay, you can just try it on your browser as well, or yeah, some other browsers, or even mobile as well. Even mobile also it works. Okay, but it will not work localhost colon 3000. You have to pass on your IP address. Then only in that case only it will run. Okay, if you want to check it, I'll just print console.log here. Okay, let's say connected. Okay, so that whenever someone connects to it, we have to we will see connected correctly. Okay, so I'll just stop the server and start it again. So now you can see server is running. Okay, I'll come back and refresh the page. You will see connected. Now it is printed 2 times. Okay, I will tell you why it is printed 2 times, but later on. Okay, but if you refresh, you will see connected will be printed 2 times. Okay, but why it will be printed 2 times, I will tell you. Okay, in a while. Just wait for some time. Now let's say I want to connect it through my mobile. Okay, so how do you connect it through mobile? For to connect it through mobile, first of all, your mobile should be connected to the same LAN connection. Okay, so I have connected to the same LAN connection, or if you are using some your what we say, hotspot or something like this, then hotspot can be directly used. Okay, let me just connect. Okay. Mm, give me a minute. Okay, I'm connecting. Okay, it's connected now. Now, how do you connect? To connect, we need to have a IP address for this. Okay, basically, whenever you are on LAN, you have to get the IP address of your machine. Okay, how do I get it? To get it, you can write ifconf config. Okay, this is on Mac or Linux, but on if you are on Windows, you can just type ipconfig. Okay, there you will find IPv4 address. So this is the IPv4 address. It looks like this. Okay, 192.168.0. something. Okay, so this is my IP address. So I'll just enter that IP address in my browser, in my Chrome browser here. So it's 192.168.0.21 colon 3000. Okay, so let's just see. So I'll just hit enter. You'll see connected. Okay, so I've connected through mobile and I can see it on my mobile. Okay, if I want to show you, I'll just enable my camera so that you can also see it. Okay. Can you see? See, this is you can see the address here and the hello node is printed. Okay. Yes. Okay, so that's how you can, means if you are on the same
Sir,
LAN network. Yes, Yogesh.
sir, can you repeat once again? CMD में हमको क्या करना है? IP address ये करना है ना?
हाँ, अगर आप सेम लैन मशीन पे हो, अगर आपका सेम
हाँ.
लैन पे कनेक्टेड है आपका मशीन और आपका मोबाइल, देन फिर आप क्या कर सकते हो, आपके मशीन पे जाके जस्ट हैव टू टाइप IF config. ना, ये IF config इज अ कमांड which is in क्या बोलते हैं, in Mac. If you do this, you will find this IPv4 address.
विंडोज के लिए भी सर सेम है.
विंडो के लिए IP config है, IP config.
IP
I think
IP
so.
कौन? ओके.
Yeah, Windows local IP address. Uh, yes, it's IP config, right? Yes, it's IP config. Just run this IP config command. You will get the IP address. It will be IPv4 address. Check for IPv4 address. There are more than those. IPv6 address are also there. IPv4 address mostly will look like this. 192.168. something like this. Okay. Yes, correct. That's same. 192.168. It almost looks like this. It starts with 192.168 and then further. Okay. So you can connect your server through mobile as well if you are on same LAN or same machines. Okay. So that's how you can connect to the server. Okay. So now I can connect with any device. Okay, if I want to connect it through my other browser, that also I can do. Just have to enter localhost colon 3000 on that browser. Or if you are on another machine, then enter the IP address of the local machine and you will be able to see it. Okay. Understood everyone how to create a server and how to run it through HTTP module? Yes. Okay. Try it out. Once done, let me know. font size. Okay, just okay. Welcome. Done. Is it done? Sorry. Okay. Okay, good. Now, see, we have created a server. We okay. I'll wait. No issues. Then okay. So now we have created a server. That server is basically running on using HTTP module. Okay. Now, what is the problem in this? Okay. So problem here is for that problem, let's see if you have a multiple pages, okay, and you want to serve those pages with different let's say text or different HTML file. Okay, how do you do that? Right now, if you run your server and if you go to any page, let's say if I go to about, you will see same hello node is printed. You can go to let's say contact page. You'll see same hello node is printed. So for every request that I send, I'm always seeing hello node. Okay. There is no you can say a page wise or route wise or URL wise, any page is not displayed. It's like displaying the same thing. That's because for every request we are returning response dot write hello node. Okay. Then how can you distinguish that the URLs are different and based on these URLs I have to show different text? Sorry. Okay. So for that, uh, let's see your options. Okay, what options we have in our request object, because the request is coming from the client, and from that client is only entering the URL, right? Client is entering the URL in the browser or somewhere he is clicking, and based on that the URL is coming to your server. So you will always get the URL in the request, not in the response. Response is the thing that you are sending to the client. Request is what the it is coming from client. So we can get URL in request. Okay. So let's see how what we can get it in the request. If I just print request here and save it, and we have to start it again. So just clear it out. Node index.js, and I'll refresh the page once again and see. See here something has been printed. Let's analyze this. It's a huge object. Hmm. It's a huge object. See, now I don't want to see the huge this entire object. So let's do one thing. Instead of log, I will use dir. Okay, comma. Here I'll specify the depth colon. Let's say 0. So it's like 0 or 1. I think. Let's see. What is the issue here? If I run this, so it will just print the first level. So the object is a nested object. So it will only print first level values. So just refresh and see. And I can see it is just printing the first level values, not the entire object. Okay. Means like you cannot see the values object inside this. Okay. But here you will see the incoming message is printed 2 times. Okay. See, after this is first incoming message. This is one. And here the second incoming message. I refreshed only one time. But why there are 2 incoming messages coming? Okay. If you observe this object carefully, you'll notice that this is the URL / contact. And for second incoming message, the URL is favicon.ico. Okay. What is this URL? I haven't called this URL. From where it is coming? Okay. Actually, whichever browser you are using, okay, browser has a habit of calling this URL. Okay. If you see here, I just refresh the page again. You will see the contact page. I have just refreshed on contact page. Okay. But it is calling favicon.ico. This is, we are not calling it, browser is calling it. Now, what is favicon? Favicon is nothing but this icon that you can see here. Okay. This globe icon you can see, it's nothing but favicon. Okay. Here also in a Google Meet, you can see this icon, Google Meet icon, that is nothing but your favicon, favorite icon we say. Okay. So this is favicon is used to display the icon here. So what browser does is browser calls this favicon URL, and it will be, if it is there, then it will be displayed here. If it is not there, then it won't be displayed. So you can see in the preview, you cannot see anything. It's a blank. Okay. So it is using default favorite icon. Browser is using its default favorite icon. Okay. Whereas in case of contact, you can see the response is hello node. Okay. In favicon also, you can see hello node, because favicon.ico, we are not returning anything and it is returning the same thing, hello node. Okay. So here also you will see hello node, but since there is no image, so it is just displaying the default image. Okay. So this favicon is called by browser, not by us. We are only calling this URL. And this is only called one time. One time means whenever you refresh the page, okay, or when you come to that page, that only then that time only it will be called. Once you go to another page through single page application, in that case, this URL will not be called. Okay. So that's the reason we can see there are 2 URLs. Okay. Now, chalo, that I got it, that there are 2 URLs. Why there are 2 URLs? But um, how do I serve different pages for different URLs? If I go to slash, you will see localhost / URL. That's nothing but this URL and favicon.ico again. Okay. So you can go visit any URL. You will see that URL and hello node is printed for that URL. Okay. For this / URL or contact URL, you can check request.url option. Okay. In the request.url option, you have the URL. You can see for this, we have a backslash. So let's do one thing. Let's use if. I'll just comment this one. Okay. Request.url equals to, if it is slash, okay, then we will print hello node. Okay. Else, if request.url equals to, let's say, /contact, then we will send response as contact page. Contact page. Else we can say, else if let's say about, then we will say about page. What will happen if we enter anything apart from this? Then in this case we can say else. In the else part, not else if, we can say page not found. Yes. Okay, page not found. And in every time you have to end the response. So I'm just writing response.end after after all the ifs. Okay. So that it will be only written only once. Okay. So now if you check, now you have to run once again. Okay, let's clear and check. Now if you go and refresh this page, you will see hello node. But if you go to contact, you'll see contact page. Okay, here also you will see it is written in contact page. Okay, if you go to about, you will see about page. If you go to any other page which is not existing, you will see page not found. Okay, for your local page, you will see hello. That's how you can route to multiple pages. Okay, but here the problem is how many we will have a lot of pages. We will have hundreds of pages. For each of those 100 pages, are we going to write if else or switch case statements like this? Okay, because you may have a lot of code here. Okay, so this entire page will become a huge page, right? We can call a function then in that, but it will be very much complex. Okay, so it will become much complex when you use if else statements like this or switch statements. Okay, so for this we have express. Okay, now how express will handle these things we will see, but first of all, understood how we can handle the URLs using plain HTTP module? Yes. Okay, try it out. Okay, I'll repeat it once again, no issues. See, using request we can get the entire request object, but we will have a, if you what if you want to serve multiple pages, in that case you can have request.url, because URL request is coming from the client and client will only enter the URL, right? So request in the request object you will get the URL property. So you can use this URL property from the request object to serve it whatever way you want to serve. Okay, so if you have a URL like a slash, you can do write anything. If you have a URL like contact slash contact, you can serve anything. Okay, but you will have to do it this for each and every URL. Okay, now we will have like hundreds of URLs in our application. Okay, if your application is huge, then we may have these many URLs. Then how can you basically serve those URLs? You may have dynamic URLs as well. Like if you have product slash id can be 1 2 3 4. Okay, how can you handle that id wala URL? Because in that case the code might be same, but only the URL part will be different. Okay, so you'll have to handle such cases as well. So that will be very much you will be doing the boilerplate code every time. Okay, and to reduce that we have express, and we'll see that express how it handles. Understood? All these requests are get requests. Yes, correct. No, these are get requests because we are serving them through browser. If you do them through postman and change the request URL post, then it will be post. Now your question is right. Like if you are using contact page for get method, then it should serve different, but contact page with post method to handle form handling. Okay, so in that case you'll have to handle one more else if. Now in the request object, if you see, there is a method parameter. If you refresh. Okay, I'll have to start again. Refresh. You will see there is a method. Okay, since we are directly running this URL from the browser, you will get method as get. Okay, but if you call any API and pass the method as post, put, delete, those method will be displayed here. Okay, so accordingly, you'll have to handle those if else conditions as well. So imagine how complex it will become. Okay, understood, Johanna? Okay, so we'll see all of this using Express, how Express will remove this boilerplate code from for us, and how we can focus on the business logic. Okay, let's do this. Once done, let me know. We don't use this method, right? Yeah, we don't have to use. If you are using, if you just have, let's say, 1 or 2 pages, that's fine. Okay, in your application. then in that case HTTP would be a good option. But if you have a lot of pages, like 10, 20, 30 pages, then maybe the Express will be a good option. If you want to call APIs, you'll have get, post, put methods. In that case, Express would be a good choice. For small application, just for 1 or 2 pages or 1 or 2 APIs, HTTP module is enough. Okay. Yes, welcome. Done, everyone? Okay, great. Now let's see how we can do this with Express. Now to do this with Express, I'll just create a separate application. I'll just stop this one and create one, let's say, a separate file, uh, server.js. Okay. And this I will create a Express server. Okay. But to do it with Express server, we'll need Express module. Okay. We have to install Express npm package. Okay. So for that case, we'll have to initialize this with npm first. Okay. So how do you initialize with npm? You can use npm init. Okay. And I'll just specify dash dash yes for all the options as yes. So will create a package.json file for us. And in that case, main file will be my, let's say, server.js, not index.js. So it will be server.js. Okay. And you can see that it is also added a script to node server.js. Okay, because I already have a server.js. Okay, that means you can run node server.js, or you can directly run npm start. It will run node server.js. Okay. So let's install our Express package. Now, how do you install Express package? What command it will use? You know, to install a package, we use npm i. Okay, npm i or npm install. Okay, whatever, it will work. But for what is the package name for Express? You can just go to npm.js, or you can go to expressjs.com site. Here also you will find the node uh, command npm install express. You can it's not necessary to specify hyphen hyphen save. Hyphen hyphen save, what it does is actually saves the package description in your package.json file, okay, which is already done, okay, in new versions of Node. So we don't have to specify this option, but you can see to install Express, we have to type Express. Okay, so npm I Express, hit enter. This will install Express and this will add the dependency in your package.json file. So our Express dependency is added on our application. Now, how do you use it? How do you create an Express server? So let's go to server. I'll just put this in a side by side so that we can compare index.js and this one. Okay. Now to create a server, let's see. So to create a server, we use HTTP module, and from that we use Express for almost all projects, right? So what if we install it globally? See, if you install it globally, then it would be a problem for other developers who are working with you in that project. Okay, so if you are working on an Express Pro application, and you want your application to be shared with your team members, then you have installed it globally, and he takes your project. And in that case, and in his case, if the Express is not installed globally, he is going to get an error. Okay, and when you install it on server, you have to globally do it. Okay, and it's not like everyone uses Express. There are some frameworks which are basically built on top of your Express. Okay, those are MVC based frameworks. Okay, those are full-fledged framework. Express is not a full-fledged framework. It's a basically, you can say, starter framework. Okay, most of the frameworks are built on top of your Express. Okay, so if you install it globally, will it come to package? No, it will not come to package.json. That's the reason we don't install it globally. Right? See here, if you see the resources frameworks in the Express side, you'll find these are the frameworks which are built on top of your Express. Okay, there are, and these are very popular frameworks. Okay, this loopback framework, then there is a Nest.js framework. Okay, these are very popular frameworks. Okay, and these are full-fledged REST API based, or you can say admin based. You can see this Keystone.js is a website and API application framework, CMS with auto-generated React.js admin UI. So you can see an items API, which is built on Express, and it uses Elasticsearch for searching, okay, like fast searching and all. And this is GraphQL. So these are like a lot of your frameworks are there, which are built on top of your Express, and they basically are like full-fledged frameworks. Okay, if you just look at one of the framework, like look back, let's say, so it's a highly extensible Node.js, and it uses Express plus TypeScript, so you can create applications based on TypeScript as well. Okay, here also Nest.js also, it is quite similar to your Angular. Okay, so whatever the it's basically the structure or framework is built compare to your Angular. If you know Angular, then if you can just go to the documentation, and you'll find that it has controllers. Okay, then you can see the @ controller, find all, then modules, middleware, pipes, guards. Okay, these are the same thing that we use in Angular. So if you know Angular, Nest.js will be the simple to learn. Okay, so these are just like advanced frameworks, you can say. Okay, yes. Okay, now let's create a Express server. Now, when you want to create a server using HTTP module, we use require HTTP and just get a function, create server function. Now, when you want to create a server, first of all, we will get a Express module. So we can use require Express. This will just give me the Express module. Now, to create a server, we have to write, let's say, const app equals to Express. You have to just call the Express function. You just have to call the Express function. Okay, you can call app or server. It's up to you. You can call server as well. Okay, let's name it same way so that it will be easier to understand. So server, and after this you can write server dot, okay, get. Okay, in this get method you can specify the URL that you want to serve to. Okay, so let's say I want to serve this slash URL. So I'll write slash comma. Now this URL will have a second parameter as request response callback method. Okay. In this case, you can write response dot send. You don't have to write response dot write and then response dot end. This response dot send method will do this both the things for you, like writing to a response stream and ending that response stream. Okay. So this will do the same, though both the things. So you don't have to worry about writing end in the at the end. Okay. So you can just write a hello node here. Okay. That's it. So your server is created, or server is basically created here. Actually, server is created here. We are just writing a request here. Okay. So if you are visiting slash localhost colon 3000 slash nothing, then this will return you hello node. Okay. By the way, one more thing I forgot to tell you. If you don't write response.end, okay, then what will happen? Let's see that first. So I'll just run node index.js once again. And if you visit any of the URL, okay, you will see that the URL, you can see the response is like you haven't received the response yet. Your browser will go into the loop, okay, because response is not ended. Okay, that's the reason you have to end the response. So if you end the response and if you start it again and refresh, you will see the response is immediately ended. Okay, as soon as the response is sent. Okay, that's the reason you have to end the response. But when you are using Express, you don't have to end it because this send method will do the write and end both for you. Okay. Now after this, again, your request is handled. The last step is the same thing. Listen to the port. Okay, this step is same. Okay. So I just copy pasted it here. You can see. Now let's see the how it can work. Okay, so just clear it out. You can do node server.js or you can simply do npm start because npm start has node server.js. So I'll just use the same thing, same script. You can see node server.js. It is started on localhost 3000. Let's go and visit, refresh. See, hello node is printed. Previously it was in black color because it was I was my browser default theme is dark theme. That's the reason it was using black. But since I'm using Express by default adds body color to like white. Okay, so you can see it's a white, and in the network panel also you will see when I visit localhost colon 200, I'm receiving hello node. But when I try to get favicon.ico, okay, you will see the status as 400 and you can see it's in red color. Okay, because it is not allowing any other URL. It will only allow those URLs which we are specifying here. Okay, so I have specified slash and it will return hello node for that. So when I visit this URL, you will see this. Okay, hello node. But if I try to visit slash contact or favicon.ico, you will see cannot get slash contact because it is returning 404 status. Okay, so by default, if you have not handled any URL, it will by default return you 404 status with not found. Okay, but let's say you want to handle that URL, then in that case you can simply do one thing. Just copy this, paste it here and put contact slash contact. Okay, and in this case you can write contact page. Thus, okay, it is done. Just start your server. Okay, and let's visit, refresh. We can see contact page. Okay, if you go to home page, you will see home page. Okay, so that's how you can see now. If you want to handle the contact page differently, you have a separate function. Do it in that function. Okay, if you want to handle this, there is separate function. Do it in that function. You don't have to write if else, if else, if else, and everything. And even if the page is not found, Express is handling it in its own way. Okay, if you want to do some more pages, let's do the about page as well, so that we can about like this. And here I'll say about page. If you go and visit slash about, so you'll see, okay, I need to restart again. You can see I have to restart again and again. Okay, for that we have a solution. We'll do that. But you can see if I refresh it now, you can see about page. But if I go visit any URL which is not there, you will see cannot get, and you'll see 404 not found. Okay, but if you want to handle this URL as well, okay, if you want to display your custom message, not like this cannot get slash this, you want to display your custom message, then how do you handle it? For that, you need to handle wildcard URLs. Okay, so there is a concept called as wildcard URL. So instead of slash about or slash contact, just specify double stars. Okay, double stars means wildcard route. Wildcard route. Okay, this is a wildcard route. Means if any of the route doesn't match, this this function will be called. Okay, or this route will be called. Okay, and here you can say, let's say page not found. Okay, and if you now refresh this page, okay, need to restart it again. That's what happens. Okay. Refresh, you will see page not found. Okay, but here you will see status as 200. Okay, actually status should be 404. 404 means not found. Okay, so in that case, what you can do is when you send it, you can also send a status using dot status. Okay, you can send 404 here, and this will send a status 404. Again, again this start. Okay, refresh, you will see status as 400 and page not found. Now you can enter any URL which is not available. You will find page not found. If you go to URL which is available, let's say about, you'll see about page with status 304. Okay, that's different. Contact, you will see the contact page. Slash, you will see the hello node. Okay, so that's how you can handle the URLs. Okay, understood everyone? How to create a server using Express and how to handle URLs. Do it. Once done, let me know. Sir, please explain again. I lost my net connection. Okay. See. Yeah, I'll repeat it. No issues. See, when you visit, when you create a server, okay, you have to handle multiple URLs. Okay, by default, what Express does is Express will return 404 not found for every URL. Okay, unless and until you handle it. Now to handle it, you can just write server.get and then specify slash, okay, whichever URL you want to handle. So I want to handle slash URL, and for this slash URL, which callback function you want to call, or listener function you can say. So this listener function, the entire listener function is handling all the request URLs. Now here for every request URL, we have a separate listener function, okay, which will do its own job, own task. Okay. Now contact page, if you want to handle contact page, you can write slash contact, and for that you can write this listener. So this listener will be called on contact page. For about, this listener will be called. Okay, but let's say you want to handle all of this, you have handled all of these URLs, but sometimes you will find that this URL slash something like this. Okay, if you don't handle this, like this wildcard, this will display its own message, right? Cannot get slash something this URL. Okay, and it says 404 status. But what if you want to display your custom message? Okay, then you have to handle this kind of URLs. Okay, now we don't know which type of URL it will pass. Okay, we have handled slash contact and about, but apart from this, if you want to handle any other URL, okay, then in that case you will do wildcard route. In wildcard route, you don't have to specify any URL, just specify star, two asterisk symbols. This will match any URL, okay, apart from these three URLs, because these are handled already. Apart from this URL, you can this will match any URL, okay, because any URL that you will type will not match, just a minute, will not match any of the URL, any of these listeners. Okay, so it will not come to this, but last time, let's say this will come to this URL and it says wildcard, that means it can match any URL. So it will come to this, and then we are sending our own message, that is page not found. Okay, but if you don't send a status, it will return you 200. Okay? If you want to send a 404, by default it returns 200. If you want to send 404, Then in that case, you can write status and 404, then it will return 404. Okay. So now it will display your own custom message with 404 status. Okay. Understood? Okay. Do it. Once done, let me know. I'll be back in a minute. Okay? Okay, done. Okay, great. Now, see this wildcard route that we have used. Okay, this route should be at the end only. Okay, why so? If I use this route at the top, let's say here, okay, then what will happen, sir? If I use this route at the top, then what will happen? Can anyone tell me what will happen here? If I use this wildcard route at the top, what will happen? Yes, anyone? No?
For any request, it will consider it as a wildcard only. Because
Correct. If you are using wildcard route first, then for any request, it will be considered as wildcard route. Okay, and it will always show page not found, even if you go to slash contact or about page. Okay, use 404 page not found for any request. Correct. You can just see here. If I go to slash, you will see page not found. If you go to slash about, you will see page not found and 404. That's because whenever the routes are there, they are, then you can see for every route, the routes are handled in a order. Okay, in whatever order that you write, they will be handled in a order wise. Okay, so whenever the request comes, first this route will, it will check for this route. If it matches, then it will be served. If not, then the next route will be checked. If this matches, then it will be served. If not, then the next route. So similarly, it will check all the routes, and if all the routes are not matched, then if there is no wildcard route, then it will show 404. And if there is a wildcard route at the start only, you will see this route will match every URL, right? And that's the reason you can see 404 for every request. Okay. So remember, whenever you are using wildcard route, it should be at the last. Okay, at the end only. Okay? Just before starting listening. Okay, don't write it after this. Okay, don't write it after this, because once your server is started, you will not be able to get. Okay? So you can see wildcard route should be at the end. Okay, but now you can see that whenever I'm making any changes, I'm facing one problem, that is I have to stop the server and start it again. Okay, now instead of this, we have a one development dependency. Okay, which is nodemon. Okay, npm I nodemon. Okay, you can install this nodemon package. This is a node monitor package which will monitor on your JavaScript files. Okay, but this nodemon package is not a production dependency. It's a development dependency. So make sure it's not added in dependency section. So when you install npm inode1, it will be added in dependencies. It should be in dev dependencies, right? So what I will do, I will install it and then uninstall it and then install it again. Um, sorry, not node, it will be npm uninstall nodemon. So your package is uninstalled. Now I will install it using -d option so that it will be added as a development dependency. Okay. So development dependency is added. Now, how do you run it with nodemon? Okay. We just have to do one thing, just change it to nodemon. Okay. Instead of node server.js, you'll write nodemon server.js. Okay. Let's start again, npm start, and do the start. You can see nodemon is started to, it's watching all the star.star files and watching expression js, mjs, json files. So it is watching all the new files and modified files and also watching JS, NJS, and JSON files. So if you change any JavaScript file, let's say I do about page 1 and save it, you will see the server will start again. Yes, it is starting detail changes. Okay. Now I can see the about refresh. You can see the changes are reflected. You can just remove it again and save it. You will see the changes are reflected again. So you don't have to start the server again and again. Once started, it will just restart whenever the changes are made. Understood? Okay. Okay. Install this nodemon package and run it. Then we will see the next steps. Done. So npm I-d nodemon. It's single hyphen d. Yes, correct. There is no space and it's only single hyphen d. There is no space between hyphen and d. Okay. Yeah. Then what about others? How to run the code? So basically you have to just write nodemon here instead of node server.js, or you can simply, if you want to write it from command line, just type nodemon space server.js. Okay, this will do the same thing. Now you can see we cannot find the nodemon here because nodemon is not installed globally. Okay, and that's the reason I am using the script. Okay, if you remember, when you run it through script, it will check for the local packages, and if it found in the local packages, then it will run it. Okay, that's the reason npm start will run it, but directly nodemon server.js will not run. Okay. If you want to run it irrespective of that, you can write npx and then nodemon server.js. This will run it. Okay, you can see, because npx, what it does, it checks for your local modules. Okay, that will also do, but you'll have to use npx then instead of directly writing nodemon server. Understood? Package.json command is npm init. Okay, this Johara is sent. Then, yeah. Okay, great. Now, see, for now, we are just displaying a text, right? Whenever I visit that page, I just see hello node, contact page, about page. Okay. What if you want to display the entire HTML file? Okay. How do you display the entire HTML file? So in that case, let's say I have a index.html file here. Okay. And in this, I have some index code. Okay. You can just write exclamation and press tab. It will write the entire HTML code for you. Let's say in here, and then h1 hello node something like this. Okay, in h1 tab. This can't get package.json file when I use this command. So it will ask you some questions. Just did you miss the npm lectures, Divya Bharti? I've already told this in npm command in it. Okay. You can use npm init and dash yes. This will do yes for or confirm all the questions, and it will directly create package.json file for you. If you just type npm init, then it will ask questions. You have to answer all the questions, and later on it will confirm and yes, okay. Okay. Don't forget it because you'll have to use it a lot of times. See, this is the HTML file that I've created for index, let's say. Let's create two more files for contact page and HTML. Sorry, about page. I'll create about.html. I'll write some here, and this is about us. Okay. H1 tag and about us. Okay. Then let's say contact page, and here also I'll add the HTML contact H1 contact us. Okay. So these are the three pages. Now I want to display these HTML files when I visit hello no, like this page index.html, this page contact.html, this page about.html. How do I do this? Okay. For this, instead of you writing response.send, write response.send HTML, send file. Okay, not HTML, send a file. Okay. And this you need to pass the entire path of that HTML file. Okay. How do you pass this? Pass the path. It's in current directory. So you can directly specify underscore underscore file name, okay, plus slash index.html. So this is like the entire file path here, and after that I'm appending index.html. Let's save it and check whether their HTML file is displayed or not. Okay. So I'll just go to the index page. Say not a directory because I think I have not entered the path correctly. Let's see. Saying server.js slash index.html. Okay, I don't have to do like slash, I think so. Let's see. Refresh. No such file or directory. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll just remove this index.html. Path must be absolute. Okay, it can't. Oh, sorry, it's not file name, it's directory name. Sorry, it's my mistake. It's a directory name. You have to specify the directory. It will be express demo, and inside that it will be index.html. Sorry, it's my mistake. Okay. Refresh and you will see hello node here. Okay. So now if you want to send a contact page, again, just do the same thing and contact.html. Okay. Then same for about as well. Okay. About.html. Let's do this and refresh. You will see this is for index, then contact. Okay, contact us. Then for about us. Okay. Now what about this? This will show you page not found. Okay. But let's say for this also you have to specify some text or HTML file. So in that case, I'll just create a file. Let's say 404.html. Okay. And this I'll write this and then 404 not found, and in the h1 tag, let's say specify 404, and after that in h3 tag, page not found. I want to display this 404.html page. Then I'll go to this, copy this and paste it here and send file 404.html. Okay. Let's save it and refresh. You'll see 404 page not found. Okay. If you want to send the status also, you can send the status as 404. It will send the status as well, and you will see 404 page not found for all the URLs which are not existing. Okay, and for the URLs which are existing, you will see the page. Understood, everyone? How to send the file? Yes? No? Okay. Okay, then require path. Yeah, it will require absolute path. Okay, you have to specify the absolute path, entire absolute. You cannot directly specify index.html. You have to specify the entire absolute path. Okay. Done, everyone? Is it done, everyone? Okay, great. Now, see, we are displaying URLs, and based on that URL, we are displaying some text or HTML files. Now, sometimes we need some files which can directly be accessed through URLs. Okay, like your photos, images, okay, videos. If you have some documents, these are some static files, and these static files I want to serve them directly. Okay. Now, what will happen if I directly serve this like contact index.html file? If I directly do localhost slash 3000 slash index.html, something like this, you will see that 404 page not found will be displayed, because these URLs are not directly, or these pages, these files that you create, those are not directly accessible when you use Express or any server, okay, HTTP server as well. So these files are not directly accessible. Okay. So even if I write a, suppose, let's say one image file as well. Let's say I download some image, okay, some wallpaper. Okay, let's download this one. Open image in new tab. Save image as. Sorry. So I'll just go to my folder. Then Node.js projects, Node.js programs, Express demo. Okay. Let's say I create a folder here, new folder, and let's call it as public folder. Okay. And inside this public folder, I'm just saving my file. Now this is stored in my public folder. Let's call it as wallpaper.webp. This is a webp file, and if I want to access this file, if I write localhost colon 3000 slash public slash wallpaper dot webp, you will again see page not found, because by default all the files are protected. Okay, they can't be accessed directly from the server. Okay, but you want to serve them directly. You want to, let's say, wallpaper.webp file, I want to use it directly. Let's say I want to use it in my index.html file here before this hello node. I want to show it in img tag. Okay, then how can you access the file? So in that case, we can access this static files using express or your server dot use method. Now in this use method, you have to specify the URL to which you are going to access this files. Let's say I specify slash static. This is the URL through which I will access this files, and the express dot static method to specify the, in this URL you will specify the URL. This URL will be considered as a static. Okay, and this will be served directly through server.use method. Okay, so here I can, let's say, specify underscore underscore dir name plus the dir name will be express demo slash public. So whatever is inside this public folder, okay, whatever it may be, wallpaper.webp, it can be another JPEG file, GIF file, image file, video file, whatever raw files. So those all files will directly be accessed through localhost colon 3000 slash static. Okay. So if you use localhost colon 3000 slash static slash web wallpaper.webp, then it will be accessible. You can see it here. Static slash wallpaper.webp. With enter, you will see the image. Okay. So here we are like creating a fake path. Okay. We are not telling the user the path of my directory structure or my project structure. We are just faking a path. Through this fake path, we can access the images. Okay, images, videos, or any raw files. Okay, so now if I want to use the same file in, let's say, index.html, I can use the same URL here. Okay, now I don't need to use the host name. We can specify the relative URL. So let's say I use img tag here with colon src. Sorry. Okay. So here I can specify slash static slash wallpaper.webp. Okay, and yeah, we can remove this. Let's call it as the wallpaper. Okay. If you save this and refresh your index page, you will see image appearing here. Okay, that's because you are able to access the URLs through static folder. Okay, static path. You can say. Okay, that's because we have a specified path here as static, and they will be accessed like localhost colon 3000 slash static and slash whatever there inside a public will directly be accessible through the static path. Okay, if you have multiple folders and you want to serve them static, then you can use anything here. Huh? You want to use public, you can use public. If you want to use, let's say, virtual, you can use virtual. If you want to specify images. So all the images will be served through this. So you can specify any path here, but whatever path you specify, you can access through that path only. Okay. And here, whatever the path you specify for the static, those will be considered as the static files. Okay. Those will not be your HTML, JavaScript, or any files. Okay. Those cannot be, like, you can access them directly, okay, through this path. Okay. They will not be protected. Understood? Everyone, how to serve static files? Press dot static. Okay. Okay, then try it out. Once done, let me know. Then, so can you please show the image tag? Yeah, I'll show you. Then, okay. Okay, then today we'll stop here because the next topic I don't think we will be able to cover it in half an hour. So we'll cover that in the next lecture itself. Okay, which is nothing but handling the pages using some template engine. Okay, because we'll have some dynamic pages. Now, if you have to handle those dynamic pages using, let's say, some URLs or forms, okay, then how can you do that? That we will see in the next lecture. Okay. So then mostly the entire lecture will go with that. Cannot find module Express requires time. Did you install Express, Divya Bharti? Okay. So stop here.